So this is the story behind the song Face Down. I had wanted to go to Africa since I was a little girl and heard a missionary talk at my church about it. And in 2010, I had that opportunity. I went with my church on a missions trip to Nairobi, Kenya. And the first week was just incredible. I mean, God was really doing some really awesome things. And on Sunday, March 7th, about halfway through our trip, we were gathered after breakfast to get in the van and go to church. And as we looked out into the courtyard area where the gate was and the road, 6 armed men with semi-automatic rifles came through the door, took the guard to the side, and started yelling and pointing their guns at us, telling us to get back into the room where the majority of the team was. And so we, of course, complied, and we walked into that room, and they were yelling at us both in Swahili and American, swearing at us, but we got the gist. They wanted us to get face down on the ground, and they kind of lined us up shoulder to shoulder down this long, narrow room where we had been eating all week. And as we realized what was happening and that this was really happening, of course the fear sets in. I happened to be the only female on that team, and I was scared. I had my dad actually next to me, and I had a young 13-year-old boy from our church on the other side of me, under my arm. And there was a lot of prayer going on in that room as all 14 of us just laid flat on our face, crying out to God for protection, for safety, and that this ordeal would be over quickly. As they started going down the line, they were taking everything that we had. I mean, watches, cameras, wedding rings, Bibles, everything that was on us. I had an over-the-shoulder bag that they took up, and as they were bringing it up, I brought my head up, and they pushed it back down, and there were some other physical things that were going on. Some guys couldn't get their rings off, and they didn't like that. So there was lots of chaos in that room. I think the most frightening part for me was knowing during all of this that at any moment, if anything went wrong, these men could take my life. And I have family at home, and I have plans for my life, and I wasn't prepared for these to be my last moments. And I think as I laid there through the next 20 or 30 minutes or so, when they were taking everything and left and took the vans and came back and took more from us, I realized that the surrender that I was feeling towards these men was nothing compared to what God was asking of me. You know, all my life I had been raised as a Christian. As I said, my dad was the pastor, so I knew what it was to be a Christ follower, and I had fallen away and come back. But at this point, I was a pretty steady, growing Christ follower, and I really felt like I had it together. And what I realized in those few moments was I was holding very tightly to a lot of things in my life. I was holding tightly to my future, to my plans, to my family, to the things that I thought were the most important things in my life. And God had asked me in those moments to release them.